Greetings. Today we're covering Pluto and Capricorn transiting your sixth house. So remember, when you are studying your astrology, or anyone else's for that matter, that you take into consideration the full natal chart as well as current aspects and transits. So we're going to focus on this particular transit to unlock any issues or unresolved problems to do with themes related to the sixth house. Remember, Pluto is about transformation. So we can't explore the sixth house and Pluto and not talk about some of the issues that need to be resolved so that we can move forward and evolve in this area. So what does the sixth house deal with? We're talking about our daily routines, our health, our pets, how it is that we analyze things, like organize our thoughts, our organization just overall in terms of our homes and our workstation or work environment, and organization also to do with, like, are we wandering through life? Are we wandering in our spiritual awareness? Are we kind of wandering and a bit unorganized as it pertains to our purpose? So sixth house can, typically we think of surface things and mundane things like just our responsibilities and our daily routines to do with fitness. But with Pluto here, you're going to be forced to dig a little bit deeper, to kind of go beyond the mundane of, what does it really mean to have a clean environment? So let's take, for example, your hygiene. With Pluto here, something may have been exposed or revealed to do with your hygiene and where there are issues to do with your hygiene. So if you were brought up in a home environment where your house wasn't very well kept, it was a bit chaotic, a lot of traffic in and out, and it wasn't a very clean environment, you may be, because you're brought up in that environment, not have noticed just how of an issue it is to live in such an environment or to have poor hygiene, until Pluto in this transit activated sixth house things that all of a sudden it's not only brought to your awareness. Let's say you get a job and you lose your job, or you're fired from your job because you're always showing up, disgruntled, and you smell, or your clothes are not ironed, or you're always late for work because you can't find your uniform. So you may have found that you have difficulty holding a job, sixth house, because of your hygiene, being messy and smelling, or people, finding your energy to be disgruntled, like your energy is a bit chaotic and all over the place. Because if there are other planets here, Mars, for example, and Capricorn, having to do with our nerves and just this sort of restlessness, you could have really come off and presented yourself a bit erratic. And with Virgo, this energy to do with the sixth house, we're talking about more of a structured and poised and organized energy. And Capricorn as well is disciplined. Capricorn is about goals and getting things done. And if you're finding it hard to even study or to be consistent or apply for a job and follow through with that job and be there on time, then you're being forced to see the consequences of that lack of awareness, and then to go ahead and make changes and to transform this area of your life for the better. So you may have, let's say if it's a positive aspect to your 11th house, of friends and your community and neighbors, you maybe could have met people, at a yoga studio or during a cycling class or some fitness, at the gym, where you've made changes and transformations in your health and well-being for the better. So, we go through the arduous task of working out and maybe eating foods you don't really want to eat, but ultimately it's for the better. So Pluto here could have brought to the surface in a more unpleasant way, like unlike, just the sun transiting your sixth house, where now all of a sudden your attention is brought to this house and well, I need to make changes here, or I need to do this. Pluto is a bit more of an uncomfortable, sometimes even humiliating method of bringing to our attention areas of life that need to be adjusted and where we need to make changes and experience this sort of symbolic death in this area. So if it has to do with your health, during this transit, you could have experienced some abrupt or acute illness or issue or ailment, something that scared the hell out of you or made you think that you almost lost your life or you were going to die. But that scare would have prompted you to make changes and to get your health in check. So it wouldn't be a gentle nudging, you know, with some other planet transiting this house. The nudging to make changes could have been more gentle, where, you know, you just notice you have more gas, or some minor health issue could have made you make a change in your eating habits. But with Pluto, it could really shake you to the core in areas to do with your health, and it could be, you know, obviously it's for the better, because we need to be aware of things or make changes when we are eating poorly or we're overindulging in something, because sixth house has to do with routines. If you're someone who comes home from work and your routine is to have a beer, and, you know, you like to roll one up, you know, you smoke every day, or you are what society describes as a pothead, you smoke too much, your routine consists of just doing this thing, and this one thing that you do, like smoking all day every day, is not serving you. So the sixth house is the house to do with service. Let's look at the symbolism in the number 6. So when you draw this number 6, it's literally like a ball of energy being carried from the higher spiritual planes, higher perspectives, down to the earth plane. So it's higher principles being brought down here for earthly interpretation and integration. So we are needing to understand the need for self-discipline, self-mastery, structure, foundation. So Capricorn is inviting these energies into our lives, and initially it may feel like, you know, like, oh, you know, responsibility, you know, routine. It seems boring and dull. But the most successful people, the most well-to-do people, as it pertains to health and wellness, or even those who are financially successful in life, it's not so much the career that they're in, but when you find out what it took for them to get there, and how we have to have a measure of discipline and passion behind what we're doing, like we really want it, this is what creates the results of success. So with these energies here for you, it's going to allow you to set in place foundational things, practical things, to help you lay for yourself foundations in this area that are going to serve you in you know, ultimately make your life better. So it's going to be a transformation. So if you are someone who struggled with eating habits, you know, your daily routine consisted of you binge and eat a lot of junk food at work or while you're out, and you come home and you know, make yourself cough it all up because you are concerned about your image. If there's aspects to the first house, your health could be affected by your image, you know, how you see yourself or how you think others see yourself. And so you've created a routine of vomiting after you eat. Sorry to sound so gross there, but it's just a reality that we can develop habits daily that affect us negatively. So Pluto in this transit is just saying, hey, just so you're aware, this is what's brewing under the surface for you. Have a look, make a change where you see fit. But if you choose not to make that change, then that transformation is going to be more radical and unpleasant, because there's a measure of it was unexpected, you were defensive, you know, you resisted the change. So we could be defensive. If someone comes to your house, or you miss out on a relationship because your house is filthy and your daily routine sucks and it's lazy, or if you know, a business partner walked out on the business because you're so unorganized, you could have missed out on some wonderful grand opportunities with this. But because you're so resistant to making the change necessary, there could have been set in motion a cycle where you keep doing that. You keep walking into these situations where other people don't want to interact with you or form a partnership with you, or you know, even listen to your ideas. If it's ninth house transits to do with our ideas and inspirations and our dreams. So you might pitch these things to other people and wonder why they don't support you. They may be looking at some of the fundamental areas of your life, such as your hygiene and your daily routine and your organization and how you analyze information, as just being a bit scattered and unpredictable and unreliable. And, you know, Capricorn is intended to mature us ultimately. So you may are being matured in this area. If you have pets, which is sixth house, and you weren't taking care of your pets, you weren't keeping your pet area clean, or you were letting your dog mangle the neighbors, or whatever the case is, and your animals were confiscated from you, then you're having to look at your relationship with your pets and your daily routine of dealing with your pets and keeping your environment clean, and, you know, walking your dog consistently so they're not tearing up the house and pooping around your house. And you're having to look at these basic things. And to many of us, it may seem simple, you know, but it's not. Setting in place a exercise routine or fitness routine is not an easy thing for a lot of people. They may start off for 30 days and then fall off. But with this long-term transit in your house of hygiene and health and analytical processing and organization, the changes you're going to experience are going to be necessary, and they're going to be so noticed by you. It's not a subtle thing. You know, it's not, oh, I want to organize my closet. You probably need to organize your closet because you've lost some money somewhere, or you can't find your uniform for work, or you're missing things and it's really affecting you. Like the need for the change is going to be apparent. So depending on other aspects in your natal chart, you know, it will go to show how this is going to resolve for you over these next several years as we round out this transit. So what changes have you made? Remember, these are long term. So if you've set in place, like, you know what, I really need to get my health in alignment. I really need to do something about this chronic pain, or I really need to do something about these migraines. You were ignoring it, or it got to the point where it was so debilitating, you missed work, or you've been hospitalized. Now you're making a permanent change so that you don't have to undergo and experience that uncomfortable, you know, circumstance you were in or scenario you underwent. So look at your foundations moving forward. Look at your environment, your work environment, your home environment, your daily responsibilities. What are you doing, and how is it allowing you to get shit done? Because Capricorn is the sign associated with getting things done and task mastering and organization, and just being disciplined in that area of getting achieving your goals. So if you set goals for yourself, this isn't going to be some, you know, foo-foo goal like New Year's resolution kind of thing. Whatever goal you're setting for yourself during this period, Pluto can really put passion behind that and really inject it with a measure of enthusiasm and just like a raw energy to go ahead and allow you to undergo that transformation. But you have to want that for yourself, because if you don't really want it, it's a power struggle you're going to experience during this whole transit of wanting control of your life, being more organized. I want to have a nice clean house, and you want this control as to how people see you or how your environment appears, but yet you're not putting in the work, Capricorn. You're not being disciplined, getting up an extra hour or going to bed an extra hour late to make sure your kitchen's clean or your laundry's done. Or if you're not putting in the work for the transformation, if you're not putting in the work to get help, if you're someone struggling with the eating disorder, or you have some other type of health issue, it could be mental health as well, because we're looking at Virgo ruled by Mercury. This is the mental plane. So if you know you're dealing with some issues mentally and you're not putting in the work to, I don't want to say get help, because it is hard to reach out for help sometimes, especially in areas to do with our mental health and what, you know, things we don't want people to know about us. But Pluto is going to bring it to the surface regardless. So it would be apparent to other people even that you may have some issues going on with your health and your wellness and your, you know, just your home environment, like staying on top of, you know, basic things like paying your bills. You know, if you're struggling financially right now and stuff's getting cut off and you're needing to constantly depend on others for support or help, it's nothing wrong with asking for help in these areas if it has to do with money management and managing your daily routine of just your schedule. You know, like some people are, if they don't have personal planets here natally, can actually struggle. What may seem like common sense to somebody else in the area of routines and organization, for these individuals it may not be that way. These are people who can sometimes, with hard aspects here in the sixth house, you know, be hoarders. As a part of their routine, they got to pick up something or bring something home or start stocking up on stuff in their house. And that routine of doing that thing, that bad habit of hoarding and just getting things, has manifested to this, you know, house of trash and filth. So it's brought to the surface and made known. And ultimately, that's what we want in order to get the help we need. So accept whatever transformation may come to you in this area of life, and exit this transit knowing that it's long term. The effects will be felt and ripple out, you know, for years to come. So it won't just disappear, or, you know, I'll wait till it's over and then I'll feel more at home doing this or doing that. Like, we can't just hide away as the transit takes place. We have to actually play a part in it and put in the work and take responsibility and be accountable for the change we need in this area. So welcome discipline. If you need to do simple things, like they have videos on literally everything. And I'm not saying this to dumb down this message, but if you're someone who struggles with basic things, you know, to do with your home maintenance and cooking and cleaning and things like that, you know, they actually have services available and even videos on how to do certain things like just clean your bathroom properly. Like you can reach out for the support and help you need, because Capricorn is a sensible energy. It's about being practical. So areas where you may lack know-how, Capricorn may be inspiring you and influencing you to seek the help you need. And something else I meant to make mention of is that Capricorn does deal with institutions and regulations and things like that. So when you're looking at institutions, there may have been the need for CPS, Child Protective Services, or the animal control, or these entities to have to enter into your home or in your environment, or to check on your daily routine. Pluto here can create power struggles for us. So if you've had to have run-ins with authority figures and people who have to check on your house or check on how you're caring for loved ones or pets, this may have arise for you and created some uncomfortability and feeling a bit exposed by neighbors and those in the community because of what you're doing or what you're not doing in your environment. And there also could have been some issues to do with run-ins with authority figures as it pertains to your job. If you've been involved in any underhanded activities to do with your regular day-to-day job where it was of a Plutonian theme. So let's say you're maybe even deliberately participating in something of an unsanitary nature in your job environment. If you work in the nursing field or work in food, these areas where you were doing something or not being cognizant of your responsibility in other people's health. And so your own hygiene or health dealings may have been exposed in this way. And sixth house having to do with employees, it could have been an employee or someone who you caught doing something inappropriate or vulgar or vile to do with health related things, hygiene. And so that has interrupted the routine at your work environment. Now there's a whole new set of regulations and rules put in place because of these things. So that's just further examples of how what things we may think we're hiding or keeping secret can sometimes come to the surface in these areas of health, hygiene, daily routine, pets, and so forth. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you found this video useful on Pluto and Capricorn transiting your sixth house. Definitely share your personal experience with this transit so far and maybe some insight that can benefit others who are going through this transit. You can book a personal session with me. I'll leave that information in the description. You can also send me an email, info@umispeaks.life. I will definitely read it and respond. So thank you guys again. Until next time, peace.